Okay, so we want to start introducing a hip hinge at this stage. Obviously, they're not going to be able to go very deep, and might not be able to use a whole lot of weight, but it's a pattern that we want to start getting into early in the hamstring rehab to start lowering that sensitivity to this movement, because usually people are pretty fearful. Now, instead of going straight to something like a single leg RDL, which might be a little challenging for people, I usually like to set them up in this kind of staggered stance position. The goal here, and I'll do it on this side so you can see, is this back toe. I really only have maybe 5–10% of my total body weight going through that. I really try to stay on that front edge of the shoe so I'm not flattening my toe into the ground like this. That really lets me know someone's using that back leg a lot. We want most of that weight on this front leg, so just really light toe into the ground, and I'm trying to just simply hinge over this front leg. So now, so you can see it here, I'm just hinging. I could almost pick this back leg up while I'm in this bottom position. What will help your athlete or person that you're working with is a little bit more knee bend early on to get the hamstring on slack, so that most of that weight and load is up here in the hip. And then as they get better and more tolerant, you can have them just increase how straight their leg is. They don't need to be totally locked out. Still keep a nice little soft knee, but up here I get a little bit more hamstring load versus when I bend the knee, I put a little bit more of that load into my hip. So I'm here, I can start adding weight. I could even add a little bit of rotation element as I come down. You could just start body weight, getting someone tolerant to that. Then if that goes pretty well, and maybe to increase their ability to offload their back leg, if they're doing that a lot, you can just put their foot up on a bench and have them hinge over this front leg and make sure that they're not putting a whole lot of weight on that back leg, even like a TRX strap, so it moves a lot on them. That'll keep them from putting a lot of weight in their back leg. And then as that becomes better and better over time, maybe after your third or fourth session of doing these kind of B stance or staggered stance RDLs, then see if they can tolerate just picking that leg up with them and coming down here and coming down. You could even do something simple like a hip airplane, where if I come against the wall here, I'm getting into that RDL position and I'm just rotating up and rotating back down. In this phase, you can also start doing something like a stork squat, which I've shown in another video, where I'm here and I'm coming up and down, even just an isometric push. You can do clamshells with a band, lateral walks, you can introduce BFR, calf raises, tons of core exercises here. Even though their hamstring is quite limited and you might not be able to squat or lunge, let's not forget that the whole athlete still has to return to play, not just their hamstring. So we need to make sure we're doing a great job of still training other qualities, training everything else as hard as we can while being mindful of what's going on in the hamstring.